We all love the amusement park, but ask yourself, what are you running away from? What are you trying to escape? And what is running away leading you to? Because the amusement park is just the analogy for that fantasy world we create. The amusement park can be the actual park itself, Six Flags, Busch Gardens, Disneyland. The amusement park could also be your computer, social media. It could be nightclubs, it could be that bar. It could be that pool hall you go to 7 days a week because you don't want to go home. The amusement park is anything that gives you that short thrill and allows you to be someone you're not. That amusement park is that fantasy land we create where we celebrate with our friends and families. And we're all putting on these shows and these fronts because we want to look happy and look successful and feel good together. But it's still an amusement park. It's not your real life. And the mistake many of us make is we invest so much time, energy, and money into the amusement park that we fail to actually improve our lives. Like I heard this quote the other day where this guy said, you work all week and then you escape your real life on the weekends. You work Monday to Friday just to have your fantasy land on Saturday and Sunday, but then you go back to that real miserable life from Monday to Friday. And he said, why don't you change that? Why don't you create a good life Monday to Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday you can relax? Why are you living your life on that rat race just to have a fantasy life on 2 days a week, but you're miserable 5 days a week? We need to rearrange our lives to the point where you're not running to the amusement park for a thrill just to get away from your real life because your real life is miserable. How do you make your real life good? So just ask yourself, what are you running from? And while you're running, what are you running to? Because while you're at that amusement park trying to escape your real life, you're actually creating more problems. Because it's just a matter of time before the amusement park overtakes your real life. And so many people fall victim to it, men and women. That's like the new pandemic is now porn. Everybody's watching porn just to escape something. My vice once upon a time was alcohol. I stayed drunk every day to escape my real life. And like I said before, it actually ruined my real life because I ended up losing a good job because of the alcohol. I spent a lot of money on that alcohol. I dated a lot of women I wouldn't have dated if I was sober because of that alcohol. Just making terrible decisions, getting into fights, arguing with people. I strained my relationship with my brother, just loving that alcohol. It turned me into a monster. That amusement park life took over my real life. That fantasy life became my real life. And then my real life was terrible. I never got the education I was supposed to get, never had the money I was supposed to get. All the business ideas I had failed because the alcohol took over. Because the thing is, in the real life, we have responsibilities and stress. We have appointments we have to keep. We have people depending on us. But if you stay in that amusement park life, you're going to avoid all those responsibilities and your real life is going to suffer from it. Because you're not going to go to school, you're not going to finish college, you're not going to invest in that business, you're not going to read those books, you're not going to go to your meetings. It can get so bad, like you don't even want to be professional anymore. So while you're running away from your real life, you end up running to other people who are trying to escape. So now we create these subcultures where everybody's partying and everybody's drunk. And everybody's putting on the front. Like I remember I was in Atlanta, I have friends with dozens of other rappers, and none of us have record deals, but we all wanted to be somebody. It just got to the point where we were just hanging with each other, smoking and drinking and pretending we were awesome. Then we met women who were doing the same thing. Dancers, managers, strippers, rappers, singers, all these other women who were doing the same thing. We created our own subculture. And within our subculture, we were special. But none of us was putting in that work in the studio. None of us were investing money. And none of us even signed record deals. But week after week, we were partying. And that amusement park life became our real life. And the problem with that, I always talk about this illegitimate game that rewards you for being corrupted, is we enjoyed it. We actually had fun. And everybody was happy because everybody was drunk, everybody was high, and we all had our own identity. And that's one of the curses of the nickname. If you always have a nickname, it's good and it's bad. It's good around your friends and family. But when your nickname becomes the real you, how far are you going to get in the real world? I never met a lawyer with a nickname. They use their government name. I never met a millionaire with a nickname. They all use their government name. When you're in that courtroom, they're gonna use your government name. When you gotta pay those taxes, they're gonna use your government name. When I got into the real estate business, they put their government name on those contracts when they were buying and selling houses. In the real world, you have to be the real you. So don't make the mistake of going to that amusement park light and letting it take over. It's one thing to have a stress reliever. It's one thing to have fun. I go to the gym in the morning and lift weights, and it's fun. But the gym is not my whole real life. It's a good thrill. Yeah, it could be my amusement park for an hour or two, but my real life is getting better because of the gym. Because see, when we all do get stressed out in life, life is hard. Life is not fair. Fair is a myth. You have to create your own fair, and that comes from hard work and discipline. Life is not fair. It's not. Fair is a myth. But if your amusement park life is hindering your real life, you need to get out. Going to the gym, that's a healthy amusement park. I'm getting stronger, healthier, confident, and I'm meeting other people who are happy, healthy, and confident. So we do have to find a way to relieve that stress. But don't let your escape turn you into something you shouldn't be. Don't run from responsibility and accountability. Don't seek a thrill that could ruin your real life. Because sometimes that thrill could throw away everything that's going on. You get caught drunk driving one time, you could lose your car, lose your job, you can crash the car, you might even lose your life. That amusement park life that got you addicted to those drugs, you're gonna lose your health, you're gonna lose your money, you're gonna destroy your family, you're gonna destroy your mind. Your amusement park life should not be detrimental to your real life. We all do get stressed out, so we have to learn how to pray. In the last 2-3 years, I learned how to pray more than I did in the previous 20 years. Prayer is a great stress reliever. And I don't want to call it the amusement park, but it does take my pain and stress away. Spending that time with God, I do go into my fantasy land, but my fantasy land has Jesus in it. Not Cavassier, not Hennessy, not weed. This new fantasy land I got now, I'm with Jesus, so I'm good. So we want those fun. We want to have our moment of creativity. The other curse of the amusement park life is when you leave, what are you? The depression comes back when the party's over. The depression comes back when the show's over. The depression comes back when your high's gone. While you're at the park, you're on the roller coaster, you're laughing, you're giggling, you're eating your ice cream and burgers, everybody's hugging and laughing. But once you leave, the thrill's gone, you have to go back to the real world. So did that make you better or did it make you worse? Because your problem is still gonna be there. And what happens? You go back to that amusement park the next day. I remember one time in Atlanta, there was a period of time where from Wednesday to Sunday, we was in the club. Because I hated my real life. And I was running from those responsibilities. I was running from God. So that fantasy life, it didn't make me better. Because I could be somebody else. I donned this fake identity in the club. Like most of the women I dated didn't even know my real name. And guess what? I didn't know theirs either. And none of us really cared. Because we were all living a fantasy life, trying to escape something. And it just leads to more depression, more anxiety, more pain, a lack of trust. You know, it got to the point where we didn't even want to know too much about each other because we just knew we were lying and we didn't want to get our feelings hurt. So let's have this thrill. And we all agreed to these rules. Because when you enter the amusement park, you got to follow the rules or you're not welcome in. Like I remember this one woman I dated, she got angry with me because I asked too many questions. She didn't want me to know her. She just wanted a thrill. And we all agreed to play this game. That's why it's the illegitimate game, because we agree to play a game that corrupts us, but we enjoy the rewards. And at the amusement park, all you want is that thrill, just to take the pain away for a minute. Find a way to go to an amusement park that's actually healthy, like learn how to pray, learn how to worship. You know, some people go to church for that, and church is a good option. You know, I don't want to call it the amusement park, but it is a pain reliever. When you can worship the real God with real people, when you can pray, when God gives you the answers to your problems, accept it. But the reason we don't do that is because when God talks to you, now you're responsible. And that's the problem. Because when God tells you to go, you have to go. When he tells you to stop, you have to stop. When he tells you to give up certain things, you have to give it up. So we love our amusement parks, the nightclubs, the parties. We love it, Disneyland, because we can make our own rules in our own fantasy world. We don't want that responsibility and accountability. If I go to church and God starts talking, now I have to obey. So there's a tendency to avoid that. But if you keep avoiding it, you're never going to be free for real. You're going to be stuck in that cycle forever, living a life you hate to find amusement that makes you worse. And we all know somebody who can't put that bottle down. We all know somebody that can't quit the porn. We all know somebody who's addicted to those drugs. We all know somebody whose best friend is their therapist because they're trying to find answers, but they're not going to the one who has the answers. Because once he talks, you have to listen. And that's the part we don't like. Peace.